What happens when some of the biggest names in music face allegations that shake the industry to its core? This week, Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z were thrust into the spotlight in ways no one expected. A lawsuit by Jane Doe accuses both men of sexual assault stemming from an incident at the 2000 VMAs after-party in New York City. The claims? Heart-wrenching. The responses? Intense. And the implications? Far-reaching. Hi everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Kindly subscribe, like, share, and turn on the notifications button to get an alert on the next video. But beyond the headlines lies a complex legal process, cultural bias, and the quiet struggles of survivors navigating a system stacked against them. To unravel it all, let's analyze the interview between The Cut and Judie Saunders, an attorney with decades of experience representing victims of sexual violence, for insights on the challenges these cases bring, and why anonymity and civil complaints are critical tools for survivors. The lawsuit, originally filed against Combs, has been amended to include Jay-Z, Sean Carter. Jane Doe alleges that both men assaulted her when she was just 13 years old, while an unnamed female celebrity looked on. Carter's response? A flat denial, accusing the accuser's lawyer of blackmail and demanding Doe reveal her identity. Meanwhile, Combs, already embroiled in numerous other sexual assault lawsuits and federal sex trafficking charges, also denies the claims. But as these high-powered men defend themselves with top-tier legal teams, it's crucial to understand how the legal process works for survivors of sexual violence, and how it's often anything but fair. Let's not forget, this is a complaint, an allegation, Saunders emphasizes. There's a process, and that process has historically been weighted against survivors. From cases being dropped without survivors even being contacted, to law enforcement failing to conduct full investigations, the deck is stacked against victims from the start. And when powerful defendants like Combs and Carter leverage their influence, the obstacles grow even steeper. Saunders points out how these defendants will likely exploit every legal tool available, from depositions to high-profile media campaigns, designed to shift focus onto the accuser rather than the accused. The aim? To discredit the victim and steer public opinion in their favor. One of the most contentious points in cases like this is anonymity. Critics claim it allows survivors to make allegations without accountability, but Saunders sets the record straight. Even in anonymous filings, the survivor's identity is revealed to the opposing counsel under a protective order, she explains. The idea that survivors are sneaking into court under a cloak of darkness is a wild mischaracterization. Anonymity is crucial, not just to protect survivors from public backlash, but to shield them from the deep shame and stigma that often accompany cases involving sexual violence. We don't live in a culture that supports survivors, Saunders says. Victim blaming is so deeply ingrained that it takes extraordinary effort to redirect focus onto the perpetrator. One common defense tactic is to exploit inconsistencies in a survivor's story. Did they get the date wrong? The location? These minor discrepancies are used to undermine the victim's credibility, even though they're often unrelated to the assault itself. Are survivors ever mistaken about the actual details of the violence? No, Saunders clarifies. Can they get a date wrong? Absolutely. Medical professionals and trauma experts are often called in to explain these inconsistencies, but the strategy is clear: shift the narrative, cast doubt, and let public skepticism take hold. You might wonder why some survivors choose to file civil complaints rather than pursue criminal charges. Saunders explains that it often comes down to resources and trust. When survivors first go to law enforcement, they're often met with disbelief, she says. Once that skepticism is memorialized in a police report, the entire process goes downhill from there. Civil cases, on the other hand, allow survivors to take control of their narrative. While prosecutors represent the state's interests in criminal cases, civil attorneys act as advocates for their clients, navigating the system and providing personalized support. However, this process is far from easy, especially when facing defendants with vast resources. Saunders also highlights a troubling trend in cases like this: the use of lawsuits as a weapon. Defendants not only attack survivors, but also target their lawyers, tying them up in litigation to shift focus away from the underlying allegations. It's meant to incite fear, confuse juries, and perpetuate victim blaming, she explains. It's retaliation disguised as legal strategy. As the allegations against Combs and Carter continue to unfold, one thing is clear. These cases are about more than just the individuals involved. They're a reflection of a culture that still struggles to believe and support survivors, particularly when the accused are powerful, influential figures. So, what can we do? Saunders suggests starting with patience. Let the process play out, she urges. If the allegations can't be proven, that will come to light. But we owe it to survivors to give them the chance to be heard without immediate judgment. What are your thoughts on the allegations against Diddy and Jay-Z? Do you think anonymity for survivors is necessary, or does it hinder accountability? How can we, as a society, better support victims of sexual violence? Let us know in the comments below. And if this story moved you, share this video to keep the conversation going. Together, we can push for justice, compassion, and change.